Indian cinema operators, with India being the best market in the world for cinemas, with highest occupancies in the world, we have the highest rental costs, which that needs to drastically go down. And everyone is working for that. If my rent is high, I have to price myself so much higher and I need a higher revenue. I feel wo debate about food prices and all, ultimately we price it where the market wants. I would say that the cost of running a single screen operating and managing is much more higher, because your operating cost gets divided if it's 3 screen, 5 screen, 7 screen. It depends location to location, but per Audi, I'll tell you, typically when we budget, it comes to around 2.7, 2.8 crore a screen. And I even salute to all the single screen, players, how they fight it. It's like, it's a big challenge. We just wish it happens much earlier. Advance should minimum open 5 days prior to release.
Hi guys, this is Himesh and welcome to Pinkvilla. Today we have with us Mr. Ashish Kanakia, the CEO of MovieMax chain, one of the fastest growing cinema chain of India. Welcome to Pinkvilla. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you, Himesh. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
It's our pleasure to have you here because I'm told this is your first podcast. So
very first. Yeah. Very first podcast.
So I want to start this conversation by asking you a point blank question.
Yeah.
How difficult is it to run the cinema business in India?
So running a cinema chain, pre-pandemic, one thing was and we were there in the business from 1997.
Yeah.
Right? And I was not personally involved, but I used to observe it from the outside, because my family my father and my uncle used to run it. But back then there was more certainty of the box office was more predictable. It was a stable, much more stable. इस स्टार की ये पिक्चर आ रही है, ओपनिंग लगने वाली है, इतना बॉक्स ऑफिस आने वाला है,
आगे क्या होगा नहीं, बट मिनिमम
एक यू कैन प्रिडिक्ट कि ओपनिंग क्या लगेगी, कितना धंधा होगा, क्या कलेक्शंस आएंगे. दैट वाज मोर प्रिडिक्टेबल. पोस्ट कोविड दिस हैज बिकम टोटली it has become much more unpredictable, much more it has become more challenging to derive at what will be the type of revenues or collections you will get. So because of that's one major factor, that post COVID it has become very challenging to be an exhibitor. But having said that, all organized chains, सारे जो भी अच्छे organized chains हैं, सभी लोग 3-4 एरियाज में अपने रेंटल कॉस्ट, अपने ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्ट, अपना फूड इनकम कैसे बढ़ाए, वो सब एस्पेक्ट सोच के दे आर ट्राइंग टू एंश्योर कि वी कम बैक टू आवर प्री पैंडेमिक एबिटा मार्जिन्स, जो प्री पैंडेमिक प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी थी. वी ऑल होप कि इन द नेक्स्ट ईयर एंड अ हाफ, 2 years वी विल ऑल रीच बैक देयर. वी विल.
But what is the strategy like? Could you elaborate on the strategy to get back to the...
Yeah, so I'll tell you, Himesh, majorly when you are an exhibitor, your few costs are major. Okay. One to is your cost of the product, which is your film rental cost, which is your movie distribution share, which is fixed. It's same pan India for all chains. When you look at your entire cost structure, another 10 to 12% is your manpower, housekeeping, security of your revenues. 8 to 9% is your electricity, and a major 20% is your rent. 22 to 25% is your rental cost. So post-pandemic, and globally, if you see the global average is around 11%, 10-11%. You look at the listed global chains, Cinemark, AMC, Cineplex, all of theirs will be at 10 to 11%. And sadly for us, Indian cinema operators, with India being the best market in the world for cinemas, with highest occupancies in the world, we have the highest rental costs, which that needs to drastically go down, and everyone is working for that. Our film cost is more or less in line with global standards. In fact, it's very healthy, but our rental cost as a percentage of revenue drastically needs to go down.
But when we talk of rental cost, is that the reason, like, does the rent cost play a role in the cinema chains to decide on the F&B pricing, the ticket pricing, like how? Because
absolutely. So if my rent is high, I have to price myself so much higher, and I need a higher revenue. And the one way that I get a higher revenue is I increase my ticket price. And so if I pay a really high premium rent, I have to figure out ways to price more and take that money from the customer, because मैं मेरे profit पे compromise नहीं करने वाला हूँ. मुझे as an exhibitor हमें हमारा profit चाहिए, हमें हमारा return चाहिए, तभी हम business में हैं. तो अगर मैं हाई रेंट्स, एक सर्टेन हायर रेंट मैंने दिया है, एंड मैं compete करके दूसरे चेन से compete करके मैंने एक प्रॉपर्टी लिया एट अ वेरी हाई रेंट, तो मेरा एग्जिबिटर का फोकस यही होगा कि मैं क्या करूं जिससे मैं ज़्यादा रेवेन्यू कमाऊं, सच दैट मेरा प्रॉफिट मेंटेन रहे और मैं मेरा एक रिटर्न करूं. एंड अगर रेंट्स कम हुए तो मैं रेवेन्यू भी और टिकट प्राइस भी थोड़ा कम रख सकता हूं. To attract more people. Because my the profit expectation is accordingly will get managed with lower ATP.
Right. And what about the food prices? You know, that has been the point of debate for last, I think, 8 to 10 years. Everyone discusses about the F&B prices at multiplexes. What do you have to say about?
So no, I understand where everyone comes from, but you know, we did an exercise. I personally, and this will be counterintuitive, but you know, business in markets, in business, things are counterintuitive. We did an exercise where for 6 months we ran 3 plexes at, you know, really cheap prices. And rest of India, all our plexes, we have some 80 screens. Rest of India, all our plexes, we ran at, we gave pricing flexibility to the operating team. The food revenue dropped, and wasn't that our footfalls increased or occupancies increased or ticket sales increased, nothing like that. So this is pure empirical data. I understand that people might find it a pinch in the pocket. You know, abhi up to flight prices dekho. People find it like it really pinches them. But फिर भी लोग जा रहे हैं, right? So I feel वो debate about food prices and all, ultimately we price it where the market wants. I don't believe कि अभी हमने आप समझो, this is लोग कहते हैं कि आप ticket price कम करो and और ज़्यादा लोग आएंगे. In week 2 or week 3 of films, we drastically dropped the ticket prices in more than 50% many times. You know, ऐसा नहीं है कि all of a sudden भीड़ आ गई है या huge footfalls have come to the cinema. So I feel the market will will stabilize. We will make the right decisions at the ground level to understand that what is the right pricing. If we see that it is unreasonable, we always, all exhibitors as a whole drop their, accordingly drop their pricing.
But, you know, what is the process like? Do all the multiplex chains come together and decide कि okay, this area is like, suppose Bandra है, Bandra में property है, you look at the demographics that you are catering to in a certain area and then decide on the pricing, or what? Does it happen in tandem? Do all the multiplexes?
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं.
Every chain decides its own.
Every chain decides its own. Ticket pricing में, yes, it is more collective decision because distributors are involved, multiple exhibitors are involved, and we want to maintain a certain pricing in a region. But food pricing में there is complete flexibility. And it's a bottom up approach. Top down नहीं है. मतलब वो cinema level पे हमारी cinema team decide करेगी कि क्या pricing, कैसा demand है, कितने customers आ रहे हैं, customer की क्या फीडबैक है, और उस हिसाब से प्राइसिंग रखेंगे. वो भी डायनामिक है. लेट मी टेल यू, जैसे अपना टिकट प्राइसिंग डायनामिक है, वो भी डायनामिक है.
And you know, when we talk of the business of cinema, if today I have to open a single screen, what would it cost to open a single screen cinema in today's time? Let's say I have to take a property on rent and work towards it.
यार, सबसे पहले I'll tell you कि अगर सिंगल स्क्रीन करना है तो principally it's not a viable model, in my opinion. I mean, I don't want to this in my opinion, because there are I have high respect for the single screen operators, but क्या है कि the cost of real estate and the revenue that you get, एक दिन में 5 शो चला पाओगे, and the cost of real estate is really huge. And if say government regulations were favorable, that single screen could have been converted into into some other thing, or even if it was converted into a multiplex, I think that would be a much more profitable model for the particular exhibitor.
Yeah.
And the cost of, I would say that the cost of running a single screen operating and managing is much more higher, because your operating cost gets divided. If it's 3 screen, 5 screen, 7 screen, your operating cost of manpower, of all the other fixed expenses gets divided over many more shows. You can give many more options, many more show timings to the customer. So but to answer your question, the cost of making a single screen, it depends location to location. But per Audi, I'll tell you, typically when we budget, it comes to around 2.7, 2.8 crore a screen per Audi when we make a multiplex.
Okay, and that is with your F&B area,
everything.
Okay.
2.8, some 3 in that range is the typical cost, जिसमें एक multiplex per screen बनेगा.
Correct. And it takes how long to?
So it takes minimum आप समझो, अगर मेरे को multiplex handover किया, उसके बाद minimum 6 months to open the multiplex. And pre the handover, before the developer hands over the multiplex to me for fit outs, at least 6 months prior, there's back-end working on design, on the F&B spaces, the services, the tons of things that we work on.
And you take how long to recover that?
5 years. 5 years
on an average.
On an average.
Nice. That's not a lot of time.
That's a long time, yeah.
5 years?
15% roughly. 15% return.
Right. And when we talk of the cinema business, another factor which always comes to our mind is what are the modes of consuming cinema. There is normal sound which is there is Dolby Atmos, there is IMAX, there is 3D. How do you decide कि ये property में मुझे ये features रखने हैं?
Yeah, so अभी I am seeing in general कि immersive cinema और चल रहा है.
हाँ.
Premium experiences. You know, globally भी सभी लोग auditorium products, they're branding auditoriums differently. Traditional multiplex model is slowly saturating. We also, as an exhibition industry, have to evolve. So immersive experiences are taking over. That is, we are doing larger screens, immersive sound, higher grade projection. So all of that is happening. And the decision is very bottom up. मतलब वो particular cinema level पे, you make a call, you see the competition, you see the demand of that region, and then you take a call कि क्या करना है क्या नहीं.
And we live in a time where there are multiple films coming in a year. As an exhibitor, is there any involvement of exhibitors? Do producers call you कि यार release date decide करते हैं कि what do you think? Should we come? Should we not come? Does that happen, or do you think that should happen?
No, that happens. They take an input, but ultimately it's the producer's choice and the distributor's decision. कभी उनको release करना है. And distributors are the experts in this field. We will have a limited perspective. हमारी chain में कैसे चलेगी? But distributors have a larger view, pan India view. So they're the experts in that. But they do take our opinion. हमारा input जरूर लेते.
But जब showcasing की बात आती है, उसमें इतनी fights होती है. तब how do you tackle that pressure scenario where 2 फिल्में आ रही है, now ये डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर कहेगा कि मुझे इतने शोज चाहिए, ये कहेगा इतने चाहिए. हाउ?
बहुत चैलेंजिंग है. सो and I can salute to all the single screen players, how they fight it. It's like really it's a big challenge यार. दोनों साइड को समझा के लास्ट मिनट तक जाता है. एंड मेनी टाइम्स, एंड इसके वजह से बहुत बार क्या होता है, फिल्म भी सफर करती है. And because dono sides are clashing and both sides have their point of view. We have to respect both sides' point of view. It's like 2 opposing forces, and you are like a politician handling 2 opposing parties. So उस situation में then ultimately कुछ ना कुछ, time solves everything, the release date solves everything, everyone comes together at the very end. Both parties relent at the very end. We just wish it happens much earlier. Advance should minimum open 5 days prior to release. You shouldn't take it
to the wire.
And especially now post COVID, when we all want to be as we can't let customer, there are so many options of entertainment for the customer. we are competing as an industry with so many other things.
Yeah.
In out of home entertainment कितना सारा खुल गया है, तो कस्टमर को एक वजह नहीं देनी है कि जिस वजह से कस्टमर जाए. And post COVID we have been giving them reasons.
Yeah.
Why they are going, why many times advances open last minute, they make other plans. They'll make other plans on, and most of our films are released festival days पे हम release कर रहे हैं, holidays पे हम release कर रहे हैं. अगर हम पहले advances ना करें, वो लोग plan करके they will plan something else and they'll move out.
Yeah.
They'll plan for a vacation, किसी के घर जाएंगे, जो भी करना है, restaurant कर लेंगे.
Everything basically it's like
and कितनी साल की maximum footfall इस साल I think इस साल या लास्ट ईयर वी हैड 3.5 करोड़ फुटफॉल्स. 3.5 करोड़ लोग ही अपने पास who come to our cinemas.
Yeah.
And the longer we shouldn't give any reason that they should not come. You know, so yeah.
We need to, but I think for that if the industry comes together and has a solution and churns out a calendar together, the things would be lot easier.
बिल्कुल. But it's easy to say. I don't think.
Yeah.
Practically, I don't see it ever happening.
I don't think that
will ever happen.
It's too many things involved.
But there's beauty in the chaos.
Yeah.
Automatically settle हो जाता है. I think last जो few clashes हुए हैं, उससे experience से industry में वो talks तो शुरू हुई है कि ये करके हम सबका नुकसान कर रहे हैं. So going ahead slowly मुझे लग रहा है किधर ना किधर stabilize होएगा. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I think that should happen and
through analysts like you guys will keep highlighting and criticizing the industry. Automatically it'll happen.
That's the hope. Like we try to put it out, then it's about the stakeholders to decide and figure things out. Now, when we look at 2024, what have been the films which earned the maximum money for you at the property?
3 really performed really well. For us, and I mean there were a good slate of films this year, albeit lower than last year.
Yeah.
But कौन सी थी यार इस साल?
There was Stree, Pushpa, of course.
Stree, Pushpa, Bulbulaiya, Singham.
Yeah.
अपनी Kalki did really well. फिर Shaitan did great.
Yeah.
Then Crew did well.
Munja was there.
Munja also was there. Munja was a amazing surprise. Amazing surprise, यार.
No one saw
it. It was amazing. I was really glad when that happened. और कौन सा था? And frankly, I didn't think it would perform this way.
No one thought.
I never thought it would perform. 100 crore plus. Tumbad really saved October, yaar.
Yeah.
And exhibitor के लिए हर महीना is a ticking. It's like meter चालू है हर महीने का. So हर महीने is important for the exhibitors. So we are most dependent on that calendar.
Yeah.
Full year calendar.
Jan also had Fighter, which was a there were.
Yeah, and Tumbad, can you imagine?
10 years later, almost 10 years later, it's
and higher than the earlier.
Yeah, by a margin.
Yeah, so it's amazing. I'll tell you as an exhibitor, my worst assumptions have gone wrong and my best assumptions have gone wrong.
Yeah.
And all the talks, the industry में क्या challenges है, I feel in the next 2 years they will die out. I know there's a lot of stress, even among the production industry, but the data that I see, and the data that I see personally, I feel in the next 2 years, tastes have changed when the production cycle will automatically, in my analysis, not one franchise film has not taken an opening. In my analysis, and post-COVID franchise films, films high on VFX, films with that large-scale
entertainment.
Large-scale entertainment that promise that this will be a large-scale entertainer have all opened. Which is a great sign. And I see 2026 onwards, a year full of only franchises, and even coming year. See, a year full of franchises. I'm hopeful that the talks of what will happen to the theatrical industry and the challenges around it will slowly die out.
From 25.
From 26.
26.
26, yeah.
So one more year of transition and then
yes.
But what are the films that you are looking forward to?
Films that I'm looking forward, really looking forward to is like all of these, like coming Sikandar, then Jolly LLB 3, then Apna War 2, then Thama, then Thama or Thapa?
Thama.
Thama, and then then Alpha,
Yeah.
and then Border 2 coming next year in the next financial year for us. But Border 2 and then कितने सारे Toxic, Raja Saab, Love and War bhi I think is coming March of 26.
Yeah, but it's in the same financial year.
Same financial year.
Yeah.
Correct. So all of these films I'm really looking forward to. और कौन सी है? दे दे प्यार दे 2, Son of Sardar 2,
Yeah, a lot of franchises which are, so that franchise is the mantra for success in the...
Mantra for success. Then it's all about the quality of the film. Then the ultimate, but at least franchisees are getting an opening.
Yeah. That minimum guarantee hai.
That guarantee still is there.
Yeah. वो तो है. But, you know, we talk of franchises and then, you know, अभी के market में franchisee is the star. But as an exhibitor, how do you look at the star culture in the film industry? Do you think it is diminishing and now slowly it is the जो Hollywood में हुआ है, where IPs are the new superstars? How?
Yeah, I also do believe that. Of course, there are some superstars which will never, which are a IP and whatever on their own.
Yeah.
But I feel going ahead, customer tastes post-COVID is one of the big revelations that, you know, how production used to work. कि बस star डाला and then everything else is secondary.
Yeah.
Today, what I hear from, you know, everyone and all of you all is that stars are becoming more reasonable in their, and the budget of the film is taking a priority over everything else. Yeah. So which is a very healthy trend, because globally also and even within India I see that quality of the film has never mattered more. Yeah. You know, quality of the story, quality of... We don't have a quantity issue. आप देखो साल की 1500 film, I think we ourselves would have released over 1000 films. Yeah. साल की इतनी सारी films हैं. There's no quantity issue. Issue is only quality. And of which imagine maybe 3 or 4 or 5 are real hits. You know, are real super blockbusters. So we have to increase that to 10 or 15 and you
which
see that the
industry.
Pre-COVID.
There were
10
big hits
every year. It will. And I'll tell you one more data point. We took some 2000 screens ka data. We analyzed that data pre-COVID 2019 mein, we analyzed the top 10 films ke footfalls of those 2000 screens. Ticket sales. Footfalls matlab ticket sales. We compared that with 22 mein top 10 films ke ticket sales, 23 ke top 10 films ke ticket sales. So 2019 के top 3 फिल्म मुझे याद नहीं है, but I think it's कबीर सिंह, Avengers और War होगी, correct, War, top 3 films. Yeah. Right, and in 2023 it was 2022 it was RRR, KGF and और एक मुझे याद नहीं है, and 2023 was Gaddar, Jawan and Animal. Yeah. Right, so we saw कि top 10 या top 5 film लेते हो तो footfalls have gone down for post-COVID versus pre-COVID. मतलब 2023 के top 10 films दो, 2019 के top 10 films लो, you will see कि 2019 में ज़्यादा footfalls थे in the top 10 films in compared to 2023. Then you take the top 5 films of 2019, you take the top 5 films of 2023. You'll see still 2019 में ज़्यादा footfalls. But you take the top 3 films.
Then
2023 and 2022, every year, the top 3 films have beaten the 2019 and 2018 footfalls. Now, there could be any kind of analysis. This is because of, you know, longer window मिल गया और कोई content नहीं चला और यही content
और maybe people are deciding what they want to watch. जो देखना है वो पक्का देखना है, नहीं देखना है वो.
मेरा जो view है कि I feel जहाँ connect जब करती है ना picture customer के साथ जब connect करती है तब it really takes off. That is my view. That's my personal view. So ये जो data point जो बोल रहे हैं to the industry as a whole कि we are not making films that are connecting. If we make more films that connect with the audience, this top 3 can become top 5, top 10.
Correct.
It's not like customer says कि मैं बस 3 picture के लिए ही जाऊँगा. This can become top 5, top 10 and we can, you know, revive this industry drastically. You know?
Yeah, it's about collectively coming together to create content that people want to watch on the big screen in that sense.
And one more thing, if I can add, globally comparison में last 23, we were one of the few countries in the world which achieved pre-pandemic box office.
Yeah.
So it's a very healthy sign. People love going to the movies. We just have to cater to them rightly, you know.
Yeah, that's true. And hoping, like you said, 26 should be the year where we,
Yeah.
because all the big players are also coming up with their post-pandemic choices in 26. क्योंकि बाकी अभी तक तो सबके pre-pandemic signings ही खत्म हो रहे हैं धीरे करके. So
एंड अभी सीख रहे थे, आई थिंक इंडस्ट्री भी सीख रही थी कि कैसा कस्टमर का बिहेवियर है.
करेक्ट.
वो अभी सीख चुके हैं मेरे हिसाब से, एंड समझ चुके हैं.
करेक्ट.
एंड वो जो करेक्शंस भी हो रहे हैं वो अभी हो रहे हैं. स्टार कॉस्ट जो भी है, प्रोडक्शन बजट, जो प्रोडक्शन की बजट की प्लानिंग कर रहे हैं, जो प्रोडक्शन हाउसेस, दे आर फैक्टरिंग इन फॉर अ बेटर क्वालिटी ऑफ फिल्म, व्हिच इज अ वेरी हार्टनिंग गुड साइन.
That's true. But when we speak of MovieMax, what are your plans for expansion, and what are the markets where you want to expand yourself in?
Yeah, so I'll tell you now, we have really, when we started this in the last 2 years, we've been one of the fastest growing chain in the country.
Yeah.
And we have, over a span of 2 years, back then when we used to earlier operate a cinema chain, we had 130 screens when we had sold it.
Okay.
And now in 2 years, we've reached 80 screens. So we're a really fast growing chain. And we are now also investing aggressively even further to expand. We are selling some of our assets and investing the money, some of our hotel assets, and investing the money in expanding the cinema chain. And our focus is on South. It's a very bottom-up approach, but we are yearly at least 30 plus screens we will be adding.
Okay.
On a yearly basis.
So what are the formats? Like, would you want to explore multiple formats of?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to make future. All exhibition industry has to make the exhibition now has to evolve. See, it evolved from, theaters, single screens, now multiplexes. Multiplexes maybe, I tell people, like earlier when we started in 97, when we had cup holders on seats, people were like, wow. Then we had Dolby surround sound, DCI projection, then we had live kitchens in cinemas, recliner seats. ये सब हुआ. अभी next phase है where we have to really evolve from multiplexes to immersive experiences. Immersive plexes. So we are thinking of auditorium products, newer and newer auditorium products. Like we are having our own large screen experience, large screen format, recliner formats. We just launched a all recliner property called MovieMax Edition in NCR. So like that, we are, and I feel the future of the industry is making it more immersive, because at home you get a great home theater system. You can sit on your couch. You have a large bada TV you can get. So you have to make our screen even more bigger, and we have to make our projection quality even more better. So we're doing that, laser projection, and size of this Audis also that we plan in upcoming malls is much larger than what we have currently.
Okay, wow. So basically it's making cinema like a luxury cinematic experience in that sense.
Luxury also, yes.
But keeping it.
But yeah, ticket price, we are as a chain, we want we want a more reasonable ticket price.
Yeah, that was my question. That was actually my next question. That when you plan to provide an immersive cinematic experience, what impact it has on ticket prices?
Yeah, so it will have an impact on increasing. So in the future of multiplex, you will have multiple auditorium products which will be charged at a higher price. And you will have normal auditorium products or normal auditoriums which will be at a lower and more reasonable price. So you can cater to all aspects. You will have a recliner product which will be completely, great experience, the type of hospitality you will get, that will be at a different price point. You'll have a large screen experience which will have the best projection quality, best sound quality, all that Atmos, whatever, that will be at a different price. And you will have mainstream, and you will have 4DX or all these kind of formats which will be at a very differing price, and you'll have a normal auditorium. So we will cater to all aspects of a customer's demand. And if you see also content supply, sari filmein, they are planning all considering immersive experiences. Sabhi log koi na koi format mein convert kar rahe apne content ko, and shooting it in those formats, such that because you want to make the viewer experience that much better. So I hope that happens on the production side as well. You see all the big films like Pathan, Jawan, Animal, all these were made for that large screen
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, that's true. I think cinema is evolving, so cinema halls also have
Also
to
have to
evolve
evolve.
with
Correct.
it.
Perfect.
Yes. And before we wrap up, one last thing for you. If you have to tell me about the footfalls of your chain, how has it evolved over the years through the years basically, and what is your target in terms of getting the number of people to the hall?
Yeah, we've just been 2 years in.
Yeah.
And so it's gone down by, I think from pre-pandemic levels, it's gone down by 25%.
Yeah.
Right? And our occupancies have drastically gone down. And our target is that we make the experience, the future of our cinemas, we make the experience, as I said, we make the auditoriums and design the auditoriums that cater to all types of demand,
Yeah.
such that people feel like they want to come more to the cinema. You know, because back then when we used to run our chain in 1997 to 2010, footfalls were drastically higher. And so this time when I took the results to my dad and my uncle,
Yeah.
they were like, "Arey, kya hai ye? Itna kam occupancy." They were like, "ये कब ही हुआ ये industry में."
Yeah.
So they were also in shock. And then we made the plan, and we have one of the highest profit margins in the industry. And we worked on it, and now going ahead we're planning how we can reach pre-pandemic profitability.
Yeah.
And if the footfalls increase, it's a big upside. But we are planning ourselves considering last year, 2023 as the base year.
Okay. But as an exhibitor, what matters to you more? Is it more footfalls, relatively lesser revenue in terms of ticket sale, or is it more revenue in terms of ticket sale and relatively lesser footfalls?
No, more footfalls. For me, at least, I'd say more footfalls.
Yeah.
Because more footfalls, you have opportunity to increase your food income.
Yeah.
For an exhibitor, it's just a good feeling when you see footfalls. Some properties where footfall come and ticket price बहुत high है, मजा नहीं आता है. You know, for an exhibitor also, we like people in the cinemas.
Houseful.
Yeah. We love it. It's a different feeling. It's a different fun.
Yes, so here's hoping for many more houseful boards at your property in the coming 2 years and for everyone else. It was lovely speaking to you.
Same here.
Wish you all the best for the expansion.
Thank you, Umesh. Thank you.
Thank
Same
you.
here.